back to the EAPicks.com TV show. I'm your host, Tony C. Remember, EAPicks.com is a sports monitor where handicappers go on record with their picks to be viewed by the world every single day. Now it's time to go back out to Las Vegas, Nevada, windy Las Vegas, Nevada, and reintroduce the show, Dave the Meatman Scandaliato from PayAfterYouWin.com. And Dave, we've got through the regional finals here, and there's been some really close calls against the point spread here, with especially involving this Michigan Wolverines team.
Yeah, that was a brutal game. Of course, if you listen to my advice, I told you to buy the half a point, put it on 3. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on in the program, but it was a tough loss. I ain't going to lie to you. You know, they got out the 10-point lead. Kentucky fought back, tied it up, then they got up 7, and Michigan battled back. It was a great game. It was a great game, and at least I got my money back, and so the tournament's been good. I gotta say, it's been some interesting basketball, and I like the teams in the Final Four. You know, UConn, Connecticut, say what you want. They've won the title a couple of times. The Florida Gators, they've won the title a couple of times under Billy Donovan. Obviously, you got Kentucky, their head coach. I mean, arguably, I guess the second best record ever in the history of the NCAA tournament. I don't know, something like that. So, and then you got Wisconsin with their guy, the Bo guy. Everybody wants to win it for Bo. So, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. These next 2 games. The lines are they're kind of tight. And look, it's. This is the way you need to do it. This is what football needs to do. Let's settle it on the field. Let's settle it on the court. I mean, here's Kentucky, the number 1 ranked team in the country going into the season. Next thing you know, they out of the top 25. They get an 8 seed. Everybody's bashing them. All these people, all these clowns that don't know what they're talking about. But, hey, man, I mean, Kentucky's still Kentucky. It's as simple as that. This ain't football. This is basketball. And the 5 guys they put out there at any given time, they can get the job done. That Wisconsin game the other day against Arizona, what a great game that was. And the thing with Florida, if Michigan, and I know if was a 5th, we'd all be drunk. If Michigan would have beaten Kentucky, then the last 3 losses for Florida would have all been in the Final Four, because the last team to beat Florida last year was Michigan, when Michigan was heading to the championship game. And then this year, Florida has 2 losses. They lost to UConn, and they've lost to Wisconsin. So this is going to be pretty good. It's going to be pretty good. I mean, anybody that thinks Florida's a lock to win this thing, I mean, they easily could, once again, they got to play a team already that they lost to this year. And then there's a 50-50 chance that they got to play another team that they lost to this year. And if they wind up having to play Kentucky, this will be the 3rd time this year that they got to face the Wildcats. And everybody knows it's tough to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, just as John Thompson, when NC State, Rolly Massimino with Villanova was able to defeat Georgetown the 3rd time that they played. So I think it's going to be a good Final Four. I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to doing the program on a Saturday, where I'll be releasing a play for the public to try to make some money with.
All right, Dave, I know you're looking here at a game from the NIT on a Tuesday night. We got Clemson facing SMU. Current line, we've got SMU favored by 3. Total set is 119, but you're looking at a halftime selection with this one.
Well, I'm looking at 2 selections here. I'm definitely going to take SMU on the money line. I'm going to take SMU. I'm going to lay the $1.50, $1.60. SMU, this Larry Brown, he's got something to prove. He got snubbed by the NCAA tournament. No way in heck should SMU have been left out. They were a top 25 team. They played good basketball all year. And I don't know if Larry Brown's ever won an NIT title. So if he hasn't ever won it, I'm sure he'd like to add it to his resume with his NBA title and his NCAA title. So I think SMU's the better team here. I don't want to get involved with the points because I think it's going to be a very close game, a very low-scoring game. And then I'm also going to take the SMU Clemson game under the total in the first half. Now, the Wynn Casino out here in Las Vegas has the total at 55.5. The LVH, the Las Vegas Hotel, they have it at 54.5. And then the MGM, they got it at 55. So I'm not sure what number we'll use for the program. We'll just go ahead and use 55. I think that's fair. Obviously, you can't buy half points in first half wagers. So this is one of these bets where, unfortunately, whatever your bookie's got, that's what you got to take. But I got a funny feeling by game time this total is going to creep up a point and a half. I think it'll close about 121. I don't think you'll have any problem getting 55 and a half for your bet. Let's go on record. SMU to win the game outright on the money line and under the total in the first half. SMU Clemson under 55.
All right, David Meatman Scandaliato from PayAfterYouWin.com says go under in the first half between Clemson and SMU and play SMU on the money line in this NIT game against the Clemson Tigers, tipping off at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. Well, Dave, I know we got the Final Four coming up here this weekend. We've got NBA with about most teams have less than 10 games remaining. Kind of a tricky time of the season. Major League Baseball has just began. And I know you've got a special offer out there for the audience when they give you a call on your Comp Pick hotline at 888-375-2710.
What a great time of year. I'm sitting out here in Las Vegas. I'm about 20 yards away from Las Vegas Boulevard. I'm freezing my nuts off out here. It's mind-boggling. I mean, it is cold. It's like 30 degrees. The wind's blowing. I mean, it's just it's chilly out here. It's hard to believe. I mean, we're in April, and it's cold, but I'm hot. I'm hot. That's the bottom line. And everybody that called me today, I told you take the Denver Nuggets plus the 4 against the Memphis Grizzlies. That was the big lock of the day. Everybody kept saying, "Oh, wait a minute, hold the phone here. Memphis is in a must-win situation." Well, they've been in a must-win situation for the last month. All right, and they haven't delivered. All right, you know. So, and anyway, I mean, do you really think that the Memphis Grizzlies want to have to go play San Antonio in the first round of the NBA playoffs after getting swept last year by San Antonio in the Western Conference Finals? If Memphis does sneak into the playoff as the A seed, they got to face San Antonio again. They don't want nothing to do with this. So, tonight I didn't have any problem taking the Denver Nuggets, and I told everybody that would listen to me, it's hard to get everybody on board. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So Denver was the play. We all got paid, and that's the bottom line. Now, the way it works, if you give me a call at 1-888-375-2710, I'll give you 2 free days of every play that I release at payafteryouwin.com. www.payafteryouwin.com. Payafteryouwin.com. Now, most people know me as Dave the Meatman Scandaliato. That's right. I own meatandpotatoes.com. I opened that 1998, but my pick selling website is payafteryouwin.com. And, of course, every play that I release at payafteryouwin.com is monitored and documented at eapicks.com. picks.com. And eapicks.com is rapidly becoming the #1 documentational sports service on the internet. And why is that? Because it's called transparency. Okay, you're able to see the handicappers' plays 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes after each game starts. Anybody that bets sports knows what happens in the first 30 minutes doesn't mean anything. And I'm not talking about 30 minutes of game time. I'm talking about 30 minutes of clock time, real time. So we're only talking, in a basketball game, like 8 minutes at a game, and everybody knows everything's decided in the fourth quarter. Now, of course, the most important thing about EAPicks.com is when you put a selection up there, you get the actual line from Chris, which is Costa Rica International Sports. A lot of people listening to this program know Chris is bookmaker.eu. That's the American post-up version for Chris. You don't get to pick the number. You don't get to pick the line. The line is assigned to you. Now, I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Now, in the Michigan-Kentucky game, I gave out on the program here 2.5. That's what EAPicks.com had, 2.5. It was 2.5 everywhere in town. I told everybody I'm getting documented at 2.5, but I'm going to buy the half a point, and I'm going to make it 3. When I go to the window, I told everybody I will never lose another game by half a point ever again. I can by a point, yes. By half a point, no, never. Never again. If the line is on a half a point, I buy it to get it to the flat number. If it's on a flat number, I don't buy the half a point. Now, all on the radio, all the last today and yesterday, everybody's going, yeah, I had Michigan. I got to push. You didn't get no push. You had Michigan. That's a loser. You had the Wolverines. That's a loser. But when you can make up your own point spread like you can at Vegas Insider and covers and pregame, you turn that loser into a push. And like I've always said, if you pad the point spread a half a point to a point on every game, you're going to improve your winning percentage anywhere from 5 to 10%. And a lot of times you can literally turn a losing handicapper into a winning handicapper. Don't get foogabooed by some guy who's a loser tricking you into thinking that he's a winner. That's what EAPicks.com is all about. You get the current point spread from Chris, the largest offshore sports book in the world. Everybody copies the lines from Chris. So when you bet a game and it's released at EA Picks and the line is used from Chris, there's a 95% chance that's the line that you're going to be graded at. And the other 5%, 2.5% of the time, it's going to go with you. The other 2.5% of the time might be a half point off, depending on what time you buy the game. But the bottom line, don't buy picks at a website that allows the handicappers to put in their own spreads, or like at my good friend Dan's place, Track Picks allows you to delete plays and then add them back if the numbers change. I mean, that's almost unheard of. It's almost unheard of, and I've told Dan, shame on you for allowing that, and that's why I'm not at Track Picks anymore. I still consider Dan a friend of mine, and I think he's got a good product, but, the bottom line is when you're allowing people to delete plays and change them to get a better number, that's not right. That's not right. So check out EAPicks.com. I tell people all the time, if you can find a handicapper that can win at EAPicks.com, he can win for you. There's, once again, no foogabooing, no line changing. Nobody wishes more than me. And I don't mean this in a real way. I'm just for the program. I could call Tony up and say, Tony, now look, on the show, I told everybody, the line's 2.5. I'm going to buy the half, make it 3. Come on, man. Put me down for a push on the game. I mean, you heard me say it on your own program that I'm taking Michigan +3. I'm going to buy the half a point. But you know what? Nope. Goes down as a loss. Goes down as a loser. And that's the way it ought to be. That's the way it ought to be. That's the fair way to do it. It's the right way to do it. And that's why EAPicks.com is Dave Scanliato certified. It is the only website on the internet that monitors and documents my plays because they do it right, and that's the bottom line.
Dave, you've been in the industry here since 1998?
I opened meatandpotatoes.com in July of 1998, We're going on 16 years.
Wow.
I've been doing this 16 years.
Wow, that's a long time. And the reason I ask is, you when you ran your service, you've always used your real name. You've never used any fake names, or in all the 16 years you've been in industry, you've never used a fake name. It's always been Dave Scandaliato, the Meatman, right? And that in 16 years in business.
That's it. I use Dave Scandaliato. I use my real name. I went to pay my bill at GoDaddy the other day, and the guy said, "Mr. Scandaliato, I got something I want to talk to you about." I said, "All right, well, go ahead." I was paying for my hosting and my podcasting. I don't do the podcast anymore, but I got a couple of real good ones that I don't want to let go. So, and I got my domain names registered with GoDaddy. I got them all locked up for the next 10 years, so I'm not going anywhere. So, but to get on with the story, he goes, when you go to Who Is, your name is listed as the owner of the websites. And I said, and? He goes, well, a lot of people don't like anybody knowing who they are. I said, I don't care. I said, look, my name's Dave Scandaliato. That's what it is. You got a problem with me? I live here in Las Vegas. Come find me. We'll talk about it. I don't rip people off. Look, man, I've been called a lot of names in my life, Tony. A bigot, racist. Okay, I'm not saying I am a bigot. I'm not saying I am a racist. I'm not saying any of that. I've been called a a-hole, piece of garbage, but I've never been called a crook. I don't rip anybody off. Every game that I release to you, I have my own money on. I want to win these games, not only for you, but for me. And yes, I use my real name. I've never had an alias. I never will have an alias. 90% of the people in this business have a fake name. And they tell me, they go, well, I use a fake name because I don't want anybody coming after me. And I always think to myself, why would somebody come after you unless you ripped them off? And I don't rip people off. That's the bottom line. So the answer to your question is, when I opened meatandpotatoes.com, I was Dave Scandaliato. Then I became Dave the Meatman Scandaliato. That's a long story. I'll tell you that story one day. It was kind of funny. And it's always been my name. I don't have any other, even when, payafteryouwin.com, every time I sign my name for payafteryouwin.com, I always put my name up there, Dave Scandaliato. And I got nothing to hide. I'm very proud of what I've accomplished in the 16 years, or going on 16 years of being in the business. We've had some great years. We've had some losing years. But the bottom line is, I'm still here. I'm still making money. I'm still walking the streets, and I'm never going to rip anybody off. I tell people all the time, I might not be able to win for you. You might call during a losing stretch, but I won't rip you off. I'm with you every step of the way, and that's why I'll be looking forward in 4 years to celebrating 20 years of being in the industry. And that doesn't include all the years I was in the industry before I opened meatandpotatoes.com. I'm proud to say I was an original Vegas insider. When VegasInsider.com was first launched, they were owned by CBS Sportsline. It was a who's who of the biggest name guys in the business. And the NCAA made CBS Sports get rid of Vegas Insider because they didn't want to be associated with a gambling site, which is kind of funny. Now, 6-7 years later, if you check out the scoreboard on CBS Sports, they got the point spread with the over-under next to the game. So, but the bottom line is I've been doing this a long time. I'm not going anywhere. And if you need to get in contact with me, just Google my name, Dave Scandaliato. And there's only one of me. I think they threw away the mold when they made me, Tony. But, yes, no aliases for Dave, the Meatman Scandaliato, except when I'm in the titty bar, Tony. I go by Tony Grafigliano in the titty bar. But that's that's another story for another day.
That's another story. I can tell, Dave, you've been in the industry for 16 years. You don't have any bodyguards around you. I mean, there's no bodyguards, and you're out there doing the show. There's no bodyguards. I don't see any scars in your face. You're not covering up any bullet holes or any scars at all. You've got no bullet holes, no scars, no bodyguards, right?
No. I mean, look, once again, unfortunately, I have a past. I wasn't a bad guy. I did some stuff when I was young. I got in some trouble. It was September the 10th, 1990. I'll never forget it. We're going on a 25-year anniversary. The day I got arrested in New Orleans, and I was going to the club, hanging out, going to Neo Beach and Aliens and all of these places. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. And I learned at a young age, man, the only way you're going to get your ass kicked by somebody is by A, banging an old lady, or B, ripping them off, okay? That's how you get your ass kicked. All right, people go, you're not worried about walking around late at night? No, not really. I mean, if I get jumped randomly, you want to jump some 6'4", 260-pound guy, go ahead. Go ahead, man. Take your chances. I left the Riviera the other day. I was 0-3. If you would have jumped me, you would have got killed, okay, on the way home from me going from the Riviera Casino where I lost 3 games by 1.5 points, okay? All right. So, nope, never had a problem. In the 10 years that I've been living out here in Las Vegas, I've had a car a couple of those years, but I'm a walker. Like to drink beer, like to do some other things. I don't want to risk getting a DWI. That's why I live here on the Strip. But the bottom line is, no, I've never had a problem, never been jumped, never been approached, nothing like that. And I attested to, A, my size, because I'm a big guy, but no matter how big you are, if you rip somebody off, the other guy's going to come after you, and that's how you get beaten up. And at 16 years, I've never ripped anybody off. I give you a refund. I mean, look, if you're not happy with my service, I give you a refund. Might take me 2 weeks to do it, because if you pay a certain way, it might take me 2 weeks to get the money. I'm certainly not going to pay you a refund until your check clears. I mean, I'm not that stupid, okay? But I give you a refund. You want your money back, man? You disappointed in me? That's fine. I got nothing to hide. I answer the phone when you call. When you dial at 1-888-375-2710, you talk directly with me, Dave Scandaliato. And, look, you can make money betting sports, but you have to listen to what I have to say. A lot of guys call me up and they say, what do you think about this team? What do you think about this team? Well, man, why don't you listen to the teams I'm giving you? I don't care about your picks. I got a customer of mine. He wants me to, what do you think about this other service that I belong to, their picks? I mean, look, here's the plays, and that's it. That's it. Boom, boom, boom. There's no upselling with me, nothing like that. Once we make a deal, I can win 6, 7, 8 games in a row. I turned one guy, he put in 5,000 account, I turned it into 100,000. He gave me $1,000. That was a deal. Granted, he bought me a brand new iPhone, Apple iPhone worth $600. So that was a nice gift. But the bottom line is, I don't care how much money you win. Once you pay the bill, that's it. That's it. I'm not going to try to upsell you. I don't have a friend that's good at something. I don't have any inside information. Nobody's got inside information, even though I did get inside information 20, 25 years ago with the Tulane basketball scandal with Roland Ruiz, the guy that was fixing the games. I was actually friends with Roland. A good buddy of mine was dating his daughter, and while he would be in her bedroom trying to get some nook, I'm sitting on the couch with Roland, and he's teaching me how to fix basketball games. I mean, I'm like, geez, of criminities, man. So, of course, I could talk about this because Roland got arrested and Tulane's basketball program was disbanded for 5 years. So, I mean, it's public knowledge. I mean, I was only 16, 17 years old at the time. So, nobody, I was a total nobody in the thing and all of that. So there is such thing as inside information, but I don't want anything to do with it anymore. But give me a call and let's start winning some money on a Tuesday. 1-888-375-2710. And don't forget that also the 2 free days worth of plays, that includes horse racing, the Kentucky Derby, Santa Anita Derby, the Wood Memorial, the Florida Derby. All of these, it includes horse racing. Now, if you want the horse racing, you do have to call me a day in advance so I can make sure I got the racing form for the track that you want me to handicap. I'm an all-around guy when it comes to gambling. I play roulette. I'm the king of roulette. I mean, I'm the best roulette player in the world by far. I do the horses. I do the sports. If you like to gamble, pick the phone up. Give me a call. 2 heads are better than 1. And I can help you make money. 1-888-375-2710. Talk directly with me, Dave Scaliato, owner of PayAfterYouWin.com, and of course my big site, meatandpotatoes.com.
All right, that's right. Be sure to give Dave a call. You see the number, 888-375-2710. Get 2 days worth of free plays. His premium plays that he posts on PayAfterYouWin.com. You pick the days. You want the March Madness games. You want Major League Baseball, NBA. You pick the 2 days. Dave will give them to you. Just give him a call. You see the number, 888-375-2710. And to review, Dave will say, an NIT game between Clemson and SMU, take the under in the first half, and then play Clemson money line in that game, in the NIT game.
SMU money line.
SMU money line in this game, and Clemson and SMU go under in the first half. So we got that right. SMU money line, Clemson and SMU under the total first half. All right. I'd like to thank Dave the Meatman Scandaliato from PayAfterYouWin.com for joining me today on the EAPicks.com TV show. And that's going to do it for tonight. I'm Tony T. Remind you to subscribe to our YouTube page and keep up to date with all the latest pick offerings. That'll do it for tonight. I'm Tony T. We'll be back tomorrow.